Good morning. Welcome back to When Pigs Fly. I am Patty. I'm here with Renee and Tracy. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right. So we are still in we're post eclipse, but we're still in the energies of the eclipse. So we're going to continue down this road. And today we're going to talk about the heart. Why? Because we're getting out of our heads and into our hearts. That is your new operating system. You might as well start playing with it now. I know we are, and we're having a good time with it. So basically, we want to get out of thinking using the thinking brain and more into feeling. What does this feel like? And how do you do that? You got to start with the heart. So, which one of you two lovely ladies would like to jump in on this topic first?
I want to pass it to Tracy because I think what you always write such beautiful things and it really opens everything up. So if you could read what you wrote on your going home, I think that would be a great starting point.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, so this one I actually entitled Coming Home. And if you tuned into our last episode, we spoke to my trip to the British Virgin Islands. And this is something else that came up that was really a reflection that took me a while to really reflect on. And I will read it. Okay. So it is fascinating and interesting how life keeps giving us opportunities and experiences to attain a deeper and more comprehensive understanding and appreciation for the knowings and the truths that we already possess. I have been seeing a knowing for months now that we will be called to anchor into a new way of being and grounding. The magnetics of the earth are rapidly shifting and changing, and that we will all be required and have the ability to anchor into 0 point, that all of our reference points of safety and security will dissolve, allowing us to ground and anchor into our hearts. We are our own source of safety, security, and guidance. Actually, that concept will eventually fade away as we progress and transition into a state of simply being, but more on that later. I want to share an experience I just had in which this was demonstrated to me. I spent a week living on a boat in the British Virgin Islands with my family. It was very windy and with choppy waters the entire trip. The trip was amazing, the scenery incredible. As anyone who has spent an extended time on a boat, especially in windy conditions, knows that you exist in a state of rocking and rolling and trying to maintain your balance and equilibrium. I absolutely love being on the water, and in the sun. So there were many amazing components and experiences of this trip. There were also many that could be perceived as obstacles and challenges. Very charged situations, such as trying to type to mooring balls in very choppy water surrounded by a lot of other boats. In and out of dinghies, hoping no one slips, falls, or hits their head. Some seasickness and some other not feeling well scenarios. I personally tweaked my rib a couple of days in and was in pain most of the trip and constantly kept exaggerating it by choice by kayaking, paddleboarding, snorkeling, and performing my first mate duties. We were also living in a very small and tight quarters, and the beds were small and hard. I'm disclosing all of this because I would expect myself to be very excited and grateful to be coming home to my bed and my shower, and I was. But there was also a very real feeling of not wanting the experience to end, of not wanting to leave. Interestingly enough, my younger daughter had said that she was feeling the same way. The first morning we were back and I woke up in my bed, it felt somewhat foreign. I was expecting the rocking of the boat and the window looking out onto the water. I got a very strong message that I had come home. As I was thinking, yeah, no duh, I'm back in my house, in my bed, but it feels kind of foreign. What gives? And then I realized I had come home, finally. Home to me, anchored in my heart. Home is wherever I am. I am always anchored and guided from within. I believe that being out on the water in a state of free form, floating and drifting with really no tangible points of external structure and safety, provide an amazing and very palpable and tangible experience to realize that we all have the ability to be strong and stable in our own heart and our own energy fields wherever we are. So stability and strength come from within. Safety and support are inherent within us. Love and guidance are always present in our heart field. We always have all that we need. We are always home.
Beautiful. Perfect.
Love
Perfect. And
that.
that as you were saying that, Well, I had just watched John Burgos, who was on a while back on his show. April was interviewing him. April and Chelsea were interviewing him, and he had this experience, and it sort of reminds me of that when you're saying, like, you know, you were coming home, you realized you came home. He had this experience where he actually reached out to somebody and said, "Would you marry me?" Meaning, marry his parts together as one. I mean, it was just so beautiful the way he described it and what it was. And, you know, it got me thinking, like, so many of us really are always looking outside, or even when we go inside, you know, because sometimes when, you know, I say to, you know, client, okay, you got to go inside, they're like, I don't even know what the hell that means. You know, it's that, you know, really, you know, being quiet and stuff. For everybody's going to be different. Okay. The healers have always said it's always going to be different from everybody, because it depends where they're at in their thing. I've always thought it was one aspect. We're all coming in, and they're saying the way people do it are going to be different. So it's really listening and paying attention to what feels right to you. And that's in this energy, this new energy we're in, is really about feeling what feels right and allowing yourself to come home. And when you have that whole thought of, I'm going to come home to me now, they're saying in this energy field, you will feel that swirl and shift, because when we went through, you know, the eclipse in general, they're speaking about. So when we went through the eclipse in general, that whole everything shifting and turning upside down and be remagnetized, repolarized, like all of that stuff, your systems now, some bodies are looking at each other, okay, inside you. Okay, because we have, you know, many different versions of us. So some of them are looking, some of them are actually lined up together, but there's a separation, you know, between them. So it's a matter of when you're saying, like, I don't know what the hell that means coming home to me. Have the whole thought be, okay, I'm ready to come home to me. That's all we have to do. And they're saying, and you're going to feel this almost like this compression. And Tracy, you said this, I don't know if you said this, you know, we're in between, you know, things or whatever, but is that it's like the compression of the diamond, you know, and really, you know, bringing it, you know, together so that your system comes home. And what's really crazy is I remember, you know, years ago, it was just weird. I was just like looking in the mirror, and I turned and I looked in the mirror, I'm like, oh, there I am. And I was like, what the hell? Like, and I've just heard that recently from a couple clients where they're like, I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh my God, that's me. Like, they're seeing themselves for the first time. And
Yeah.
I think that's what people are going to start to recognize. Really take the time to look in the mirror now and really look at you and, you know, welcome and thank every aspect of you home, and just really see who you are, because I think you're going to be amazed at what's looking back now, you know, prior to the eclipse to now in the eclipse. And I don't know, Patty, if you've been hearing or seeing any of that with your clients, or even yourself, what you've experienced.
A ton. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yes, and yes. With clients, instead of, like, they'll say, I've been thinking this, and I'm saying, okay, or they'll say, what should I do? What should I do? This has come up. What should I do? I stop them and say, okay, wait, let's feel this moment. Feel into it. Change that, change your operating system. And it's so interesting. As soon as I tell them to feel it, they go, I know what I have to do. I said, because that our truth lies inside. The truth, the next step, the intuition, all of it is internal. And you know, when you say this, when you were talking, I was just seeing this whole vision of all parts, all fragmented parts, all basically we're becoming whole. We're not becoming whole. We are whole. And so what we're doing now is integrating all those fragmented parts that were traumatized, and then the ones that need to, you know, be alchemized back to love are doing that. And then the rest is we are becoming whole. And that is the unity thing. And so when you're saying that, when you look in the mirror, and I definitely feel that wholeness, that um and a security and a comfort comes in too. So but yeah, it's and allowing it and then not questioning it and saying, okay, this is why we're here. This is why we're here. We're becoming whole, and we're embracing it. And so, you know, that's been my experience. I've been having a lot of fatigue, but also waking up with insane amount of energy. Like the other day, I realized it was like 11 o'clock. I hadn't had a cup of coffee and I was like, what is wrong with me? Like that's my go-to. And I had so much new energy come in that I was just like, oh gosh, I don't need a cup of Joe right now. I'll start like, I'll be acting like a crazy person. So definitely feeling it, but there's a calmness and an inner peace that I feel that I have been able to easily access more than ever. And it exists regardless of what is going on around me. And I find, and there's a power in that. There's a power in that. So yeah, absolutely feeling it and embracing it and loving every minute of it.
Tracy, you look like you want to say something.
I was just thinking that, and everyone does show up differently and analyze, and we all move through life very differently. But I know for me, I'm always constantly asking for examples because I can get these knowings, and this was a huge example of the whole coming home. Well, theoretically, and just me kind of, minding through it of what it means. So I'm always saying, show me, show me, show me. And it's amazing how many situations, scenarios are presenting in my life that, oh my God, I get it now. Oh my gosh, I get even more now. So to ask for it and then to be mindful of what really is presenting for you. And I even find myself, we want to go to like the mainstream 3D version of what's happening. And thank goodness, I'm always like, don't keep me small or stuck. Let me see better. Let me see bigger. And it's just, I really truly believe now with these new energies, it's so palpable. It's right there in front of you. I really think it's not hidden anymore, that it's so right in your face that it's almost hard to miss it. Like you have to work to miss all of the amazing energies and situations and scenarios and the people and the thoughts and the emotions and the newness of them and the amazingness of them. Like they're literally right there. So
Yeah, because we're more present.
Yeah.
The more present you are, you get clarity and you get the absolute truth. That you do. And if there's something that is unknown and you want to feel into it, do like exactly what Tracy just said. Show me more. Like if you're like, I think that feels right. If you're not sure, show me again. Show me again. We've had a couple of our listeners put this in there where they're like, "Oh, I asked for three. Great." And you can also say, give me a stronger sign and remember you're fully supported and ask for it. But ultimately, we're becoming more and more present and we're fully in our body now. You're not in your head, you're fully in your body. If you feel like you're out of it, look in the mirror and say, please bring me fully into my body right now. And you'll get that support and you can feel it. And then what we're talking about here and connecting with your heart is from there, it sounds crazy, but when you go inward, that's where your expansion happens. And you expand from that stillness in that moment. And that's when you're connecting to higher and bigger energies. And so when we say it's like you can really now, it's so easy to drop into your heart now because we have the ability, all the bullshit that was blocking it or telling you your heart's broken, your heart doesn't work. That's all crap. That was all fear-based stuff to keep you in separation and from connecting with your heart. And when you do, it's so much easier now to access it and find what works for you. You know, it's like a muscle though. The more you practice it, it's like then you'll get to the point where you're like, oh no, you're trying to leave me. No, 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 we're not leaving this heart space. This is too cool and too yummy. So you will get to that point. It does, and it's absolutely different for everyone. But when you recognize that you're present, you're in your heart because you're not. If you're in your head, you're not present. And so, but now it's, yeah, the amount of presence that we can feel is so, but it's like amplified, right, Renee?
Yeah. And I think it's so important to mention that, Patty, even when you were saying like, okay, everything's like coming together, all those little fragmented parts are coming together, to also begin to recognize all these little pieces are coming together that we literally, he was just saying that we literally pushed out thinking something was wrong with us, thinking that and forgetting that we came here to experience these experiences that we then judged, that we then somebody said, well, that's not right. And and then, oh my God, you have to heal from that. And you immediately took that on. That was somebody else's story. that really wasn't here, because they're saying if we really stopped and felt, especially in this energy, what a lot of the things we thought we needed to heal from. And they're saying there's certainly people out there that will still need to do their healing. They're not saying that, but there's a huge chunk of people that are going to recognize, I don't need to heal that. That happened, and I see the, where it brought me. I see the blessing. And when they want to go into that consciousness of something was wrong there and I need to hold on to this, that's all they're doing is putting separation within your system. So as in this energy, and as we're all coming back, home to the heart, it's really compressing all of that, those little pieces that said I was separate. So you're letting go of those little energetic beings, like you're holding this place hostage. And until I heal this, or until I forgive my mother, until I do that, it's like, no, you have to let that go, because that's stopping you. In addition to the point of recognizing everything that, and this was, goes for a lot of the clients, we're saying, well, I'm trying to get to this place. I want to be, where you are. I want to see her. I want to hear her. I want to feel her. So-and-so's this way. Again, you're comparing yourself with somebody else. You're completely different. So let go of that. But also recognizing, as you're doing that, you're not only putting separation in, when you finally stop and you look in the mirror and you come back, I'm like, I'm coming within me, and you have that peaceful calm. And that continues to grow because you're no longer looking outside. You're accepting and honoring you for exactly who you are. And start to say that, start to have that, that be your new mantra. I accept and I honor who and what I am. And, if you want to expand on that or do different wording, but start to accept that, because what you're going to start to recognize is everything that you thought you were working at to get to. Oh, I want to, be more spiritual. I want to be more aware. I want to be more awakened. You are. When you're in that beautiful, peaceful place, you recognize this is it. And that grows, exactly what Patty said. That's growing. That expansion then happens because, number one, you're no longer looking outside of yourself, which, brings you to exactly what Tracy was saying. You're not looking outside. Everything has always been within.
Yeah.
And as you're in that space, and sometimes it's difficult because we're used to looking outside. But again, this energy, and I hate to always say that, but this energy is here to love and support us bigger than it had ever been able to before. So allow yourself to embrace that, embrace who and what you are, and love all those aspects. Love every aspect, everything that you've been attempting to heal, it was already healed.
Yeah.
And
You're
it's,
never broken.
yeah.
You were actually, it was an illusion. It's hard for
Yeah.
the brain to wrap around, but it was an illusion and you were never broken. And
Mhm.
now all you need to do is step in and see yourself the way your soul sees you. Our souls never saw fear, nothing, fear, suffering, nothing. Your soul doesn't think you're bad. They don't even know what it is. And that's the truth of who you are. And so, we're step into how your soul sees you, which is like in absolute perfection, in absolute perfection. And with a unique, you have your own unique aspects. Get out of comparison. It is old. It's the inverted bullshit, like a thing that's gone. Stop comparing yourself. Just be you and celebrate the shit out of yourself. Like, this is good times. We've been waiting for this sucker to flip back up, right, Tracy?
Absolutely. And I want to throw in another component of all of this is the safety nets that we've all relied on. And two that come to mind really strongly and quickly is insurance. Why we all think we need insurance to be safe or be protected, and to start wrapping your head around, honestly, that's all just protecting materialistic things. There's health insurance too, which that's a whole nother ball of wax. That speaks right to what you said, Renee. Do we really need to be healed? And yeah, maybe. But or the school system, we have lived, and in this world of all this structure that you have to and you need to, and in my opinion, all that does is dilute our feeling of being safe and protected. And I strongly believe that the picture of that is going to change very drastically. So it would be best to start wrapping your head around, do we need those safety nets? 50 years ago, we didn't have insurance. And guess what? It worked, right? Just like we didn't have internet and we didn't have Google, believe it or not, we survived and maybe could argue thrived even more than we do now. So that's a big thing, but it all comes back to it's in your heart, like anchor in your heart. It's again us relying on those external illusions of safety. So that's, I love thinking. I always imagine myself if I'm an alien and I dropped down in here and I'm looking around, and it's amazing what your brain will come up with of like, what are we doing? Why do we do that? Does that make any sense? It's such a fun game that I play with myself all the time. So that's another one to just the safety nets that we think that we need, the protection that we have to have, and have it be fun. Like I love the game of being an alien in my own, So that's just another component of coming back to the heart, anchor in your heart.
Well
I
said.
love that. Yeah, I love it. And I always use those things like Tracy, you'll say certain things, and then like later I'll be like, oh my God, it's like Tracy says, and like look at it from this point. I love that aspect of looking at it from an alien point, because even if we say, okay, look at it from their point, you're still coming at it from a human level. So what I love is when you say, look at it from the alien point, you can feel a whole different energy, come in. It's like, okay, like, yeah, this is like totally foreign. Like, why the hell are we doing this? And that brings such awareness. And that will bring such awareness to you, because not only you're giving the message to your mind that, okay, we're looking at it from a different point, which it can't even wrap itself around. Okay. But in this energy, they're showing this whole different field where you're raising up, because it's so much easier now, they're saying, than it was before, to see things from a whole different way of life. So even if you looked at it from, if you're finding difficult, because they're saying, some people are going to find difficulty in finding the appreciation, which, blows my mind, and that, especially this energy, but that's where we're at. And okay, that's okay. So it's that piece of starting to recognize and say, look at the way the world was 50 years ago, 80 years ago. Find the appreciation and love for what you have here, and start to look into your eyes in the mirror and say, I really appreciate you. Just, even if you want to say, because remember, the healers, angels, God, like whatever you want to call them, but your higher self as well, here's everything as this beautiful love, and it's all positive. So even if you were to look at, because they're saying this energy is everything flipped over, okay, so even if you were to say, I love you exactly where you are, exactly who I am, this fucked up person, they're hearing it in positivity. So it's not hearing that you're fucked up person. So the energy coming in is going to anchor into your heart. It's like, oh my God, we're appreciated. And all your systems are hanging on to those words. So even when you're thinking that, okay, I'm a mess, and I still think I got to heal this, and this, that's okay. But know that your bodies are still compressing them, no matter what you're saying, no matter what you're doing. And then all of a sudden you're just going to wake up one moment and be like, you're in there, and you're going to see yourself in the mirror and be like, there I am. Hello, holy crap. Like, you're freaking awesome. And it's just gonna have, and then that's where you're focusing on that internal aspect, which is the heart, and that expansion. And you're going to recognize, and they're asking and inviting people to recognize now how often you stopped looking outside just in this last week since that eclipse, saying, look at how often you went inside, or somebody was saying something that normally pissed you off and normally triggered you, that you just sort of ignored. Then sometimes they're saying you didn't even hear them, because you're in a whole different field and a whole different energetic being. Allow that expansion to be. Every night when you go to bed, I'm expanding beyond my wildest dreams. And feel it when you wake up. Oh my God, feel how expansive we are, and just play with that, because the fun and joy and the play, that's where it's all at right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've been journaling every day. I went and got myself a new journal. I was like, oh, new energy, new journal. Let's go. And every morning, the first thing is I love putting a curiosity statement, because then it's like, okay, what am I guided to? What is my guidance today? And I say, what does my heart want today? I literally put it, because not what does my head think I should do? Because that's the upside down, fucked up old illusion. It's okay, what does my heart feel like doing today? How can I indulge my heart today? And that's, it's a daily practice, and it's so easy. Anybody can do that. And then you just, be still. And if there's nothing in that moment, it's okay. Just let it go. Go do you, do your self-care, do it, whatever comes your way. But then recognize, oh, I've got the impulse to do this, and just go do it. And yeah, and gosh, remember to have fun. We were not, our guides, our guides are used to us running to go get and and they're like, they're laughing their ass off. Like, why are they making it so hard? When really, I know we've said this before, but slow down. You got to slow down. That doesn't mean you don't have to don't do anything and don't take action, but slow down inside. Go into your heart and then operate from that space. Get yourself in the zone. You've all been there. And the more you practice getting into the zone, the easier and the quicker you can jump in there, right? Trace?
So I'm going to share my big eclipse shift is I have always said I'm a miracle magnet. Like I magnetize miracles to me, miracle situations, miracle people. And then with the eclipse, I got this, oh, wait, I'm a miracle maker now. So that's my mantra. I'm a miracle magnet and I'm a miracle maker. I'm both. And when you know and believe that you make miracles, woo,
We all
amazing.
are. We all have that ability. It's absolutely true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that.
Renee?
I love that. Yeah, I'm gonna use that one. I love that because you're right. We all are. We are the, creators, and it's all, isn't it all like to a human element? Like, isn't it all like miracles, these things? And I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and she said she just wrote down like, 10 wow statements. And like, okay, wow, like, wouldn't this be cool? And which I love, because when she had said that, I was like, oh my God, you're bringing such a beautiful, different energy to it. It's not, I'm writing down what I want. That, like, just like, with you, like, okay, what does my heart want? You've
Yeah.
taken every aspect of, I know. So when she was writing just the 10 wow statements, like, okay, wow, wouldn't that be really cool if this happened? It goes right into the miracle thing. Wow, wouldn't that be cool? What I loved about that is when she said it, you could see she wrote down these 10 things. She wasn't connected to it in any way, shape, or form. And it just went out. You just saw the energy, like just leaving and going out, which allows that miracle to happen because there's no connect. Oh my God, when is that coming? I put that down
Yeah.
one last night. Why
She
is
didn't
it?
sandbag it.
Yeah.
She didn't sandbag it. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So, I mean, so, just write down, like, even if you do it like every day, write down one wow. Like, wow, how cool is this?
Yeah. Or wouldn't
And
it be nice is an easy one too.
yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice to, right, experience a Caribbean vacation or right, whatever. Wouldn't it be nice and just and leave it at that and without any of that there's no lack and limitation and the key to too also just popped in when you're in your heart you can't have any attachment to the outcome because any attachment to the outcome is a sandbag. It's just be in your heart because you're in your heart. Be in the moment because you're go have fun because you're having fun and not with, "Ooh, is this going to pay off?" The second you have attachment to the outcome, you're no longer you are really being called upon to trust your heart now. To trust your heart, trust that you're fully supported. And when you do, the proof that this thing wanted you're not going to need it because the like Renee said, when you create that energy, it's already in the process of coming into form. What's your job now? Go have fun. Relax, go have fun. Mind your energy. Do things that bring you joy and be authentic. Be authentic. Stop putting on the masks. Drop the masks. What are you worried about? Like you really got to get to the point where you don't give a shit what anybody thinks about you.
And how you do that is really, dropping into that heart, like anchoring into your heart, going home to that heart, because that's where that peace and that calm is. And right, and what's really cool about that is when you're there and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I should call so and so. But before you're like, oh, I hate talking to that person, always brings me down. You feel you're not connected to that. You just know that that person needs to feel that somebody gives a shit or somebody cares. So you call, and no matter all the stuff that they used to say that would pull you down, you're not connected to anymore because you're sitting in you. And there's no, it's difficult to explain, but there's really no, and it's not a disconnect of like, I don't give a shit. It's a, okay, like, all right, I'm not connected to their stuff. It doesn't matter. I'm sitting in me and I'm peace and I'm calm. And that's why, like, it's so easy to not connect into those things and not look for, oh my God, well, why isn't that stuff here? You don't even think that because why? Exactly what Tracy said. You're the miracle maker.
Yeah. You're in
So
your
that's,
energy. You're
Yeah.
holding that peaceful energy, and
Mm-hmm.
it's 1,000 times more powerful than any low energy that they may be feeling. Absolutely the truth. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, talk about freeing. I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. And start to look for those opportunities where instead of going to dread, going, oh, wait a minute, I can be a miracle worker right now. I'm going to hold my space and just give them some love for 5 minutes. You'll be shocked. And sometimes you can, and you don't need words. You don't need words. You literally can sit there and go, oh, I'm bringing them love right now. I'm going to hold space for love with them, and you'll be shocked at the effect. So, any closing statements, Tracy? Look like you're thinking.
In closing, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, and create magic, create miracles and magic, like the heart. I was just thinking, I go into the wow statements and the wouldn't it be great if, and I go, in my head, I create lights that float, little globes of lights that float
Love
around
that.
the house that, draw to the energy of the people. I'm just thinking imagination, creation is off the charts right now. So go beyond what we have. Go, as if you're writing a sci-fi movie. I just know that's where my head's going a lot. Creation, magic, create those magical moments. And then I expect them to show up. I just do.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Well, ladies, great discussion as always. And for those of you listening, keep liking it and subscribing and sharing it with those whom you feel are ready to hear it. And we thank you again for being here. Keep the comments coming, and we will see everybody next episode. Thank you.